In the United States, criticism is mounting against the government's strategy in the ongoing Iran conflict. This tension has been further exacerbated by the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who has launched a scathing attack on media reporting, particularly targeting cable news network commonly known as CNN. His remarks underscore a growing concern about press freedom and the government's attempts to shape the narrative surrounding critical international events. During a recent press conference, Secretary Hegseth unleashed a sweeping critique of American media's coverage of the Iran conflict. The self-proclaimed war minister stated, "Some in the press just cannot stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions." He argued that instead of headlines like "War in the Middle East escalates," media outlets should opt for titles such as "Iran is growing increasingly desperate." Hegseth, a former Fox News host, openly expressed his displeasure with cable news networks' reporting. He went on to declare more fake news from CNN in response to a report suggesting the Trump administration underestimated the Iran conflict's impact on the Strait of Hormuz. Hegseth dismissed this as obviously ridiculous. Secretary Hegseth did not stop there. He went on to assert, "The sooner David Ellison takes over the channel, the better." This statement highlights a significant background development: the potential acquisition of cable news network by Paramount. This move could place the news organization under the control of the family of tech billionaire Larry Ellison, who is widely considered a supporter of former President Donald Trump. Critics of the former president in the United States fear that under Paramount, cable news network could lose its editorial independence. These concerns are not unfounded. Following its takeover by the Ellison family, the newsroom of Paramount's network, CBS, notably adopted a more favorable tone towards the Trump administration in some instances. The secretary's remarks quickly drew strong reactions. Former cable news network correspondent Jim Acosta reacted on X, stating, "The hysterical Hegseth wants state media." Criticism also emerged from international journalists. A leading editor for security policy at a prominent German newspaper, Julian Röpke, wrote, "The US government is making no secret of the fact that it wants to align domestic television channels and bring them in line with the government, and this process is already underway." These statements fuel a broader discussion about the independence of the press in democratic societies, especially when reporting on sensitive military conflicts. Further compounding these concerns are recent reports of restricted media access at the Pentagon. A journalist from The Atlantic magazine was reportedly denied entry to a media briefing that morning. Media in the United States have speculated that this reporter, Nancy Youssef, may have been singled out because she had previously reported on the reactions of Secretary Hegseth's staff to his earlier comments about fallen American soldiers at the outset of the Iran conflict. During a press conference on March 4th, Secretary Hegseth had claimed that the press only reported on the deaths of American soldiers to put the president in a bad light. Youssef's report noted that this remark led to a stunned silence among the journalists present, with some of Hegseth's staff reportedly lowering their heads. Additionally, reports indicate that not a single print photographer was permitted to attend today's press conference. The Washington Post reported earlier this week that the United States Department of Defense had excluded photographers from press conferences concerning the conflict between the United States and Israel with Iran, after these photographers had published photos of Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth that his staff found unflattering. These incidents collectively paint a picture of an administration increasingly at odds with the free press, attempting to control the narrative surrounding its military engagements. The push to influence headlines, The explicit desire for a specific media takeover and the documented restrictions on journalists and photographers raised serious questions about transparency and the future of independent reporting on critical government actions. The ongoing tension between the United States government and its media outlets remains a central point of debate. What's your take on U.S. Defense Secretary Hegseth slams press, sparks media control fears? Share your view in the comments. Do you think this will matter in the next news cycle? This video was generated using artificial intelligence.